What's going on? This is Ryan with Automatic Comics. Up next, I've got a pretty big unboxing. It's probably around $10,000 in value in books, give or take. But there's some cool books in here, some that I actually think you shouldn't buy, and then some that I think are probably good books to pick up right now. So stay tuned. Alright, so before we get started, please remember to hit that like button and hit the subscribe button if you'd like to see more content like this. So I think this is a pretty interesting unboxing because I've got a lot of different variety of books here. I've got silver, I don't know if there's any bronze, might be some bronze or some golden age stuff, but I think there's some books in here that are really pretty good to pick up right now, are getting pretty undervalued, or they've been retreating some, so I think they're good options to pick up. Also one that's actually part of a series of books that I bought it, so it's hard to say, like, don't buy that book, but I bought it because I felt like this one was a really good price, but I would be cautious buying the books from this series right now, and so I'll talk about that when I get to those books. So I actually have two boxes here. I've got this one that has one book in it. It is a big book. You can see it is a Hulk-sized book. That's why it's got such a big box here. And then we've got this box here that has a bunch of books in it, one slab and some raws. And so let's start with this one, because this one's, I would say, a little more on the positive side, in terms of some books that I think are pretty good to buy right now. And there is, like I said, there's one slab in here, so I'll show that one. And then I think that's all of them. Yep. Then this, it's also got this Gemini mailer in here with a bunch of raws. So let's see here. Let's go over the raw books first. So let's see here. Let's get these organized, because there's a bunch of stuff in here, and there's some really cool books. And like I said, some books that I think are really good options to pick up right now. So we'll start with, let's see here. Start with some of the ones that I think are getting pretty undervalued right now. Good books to pick up. And the first one is X-Men number 13. So this is the second appearance of Juggernaut. Juggernaut, I mean, even though I feel like, so X-Men 12, first appearance, really valuable book. I feel like X-Men 14 should be more valuable because I associate the Sentinels a lot more with the X-Men, but Juggernaut is a more individual character instead of a group of machines, so I get it. But this book and X-Men 12 have been coming down quite a bit, and so I think they are pretty good options because we're going to get the X-Men. We are hopefully going to get a better attempt at the Juggernaut, and so I wouldn't be surprised if we end up seeing that character again in the future. We know we're going to see the X-Men. So X-Men keys, especially early Silver Age X-Men keys, since they've been coming down, I think that's the time to get them. And so this is one of those. Another one, and this one I really like. I think this makes it 4 copies. It might be 5 copies. I think it's 4 though. And this is X-Men number 9. And this is a pretty nice copy of it. Spine is it's got some wear. There's all that kind of stuff, but pretty nice presenting copy of this book. This is the first time that the X-Men and the Avengers meet. And that's something that I do expect that we will eventually see on screen. Another book that got really, really hot last year and has come down some in price. It's still pricey. It's not a cheap book. It's X-Men number 9. What do you want? But has been coming down, and I think is a great. It's like a minor key because you've got that meetup, and I think it's the first appearance of Lucifer. So it's got some minor key things to it, but X-Men number 9, really cool cover. I've always really liked this cover. I like the kind of like the dual cover where you've got this action going on down here and then this up here. So cool book. Another one that's been coming down, I think, is a good book to pick up. All right, now the next one. This is one that has been getting really hot lately, but it, again, cooled off some. So I think that's a time to go after this book. This was actually, I think this was the book I identified, I mean, it might have been almost a year ago now when I was doing undervalued X-Men keys, the most undervalued X-Men key. And this is X-Men number 10. His first appearance of Kazar, first appearance of Zabu, but more importantly, the first appearance of the Savage Lands. I think we're going to eventually get that with the X-Men. I think Marvel wants to go maybe a different route with the X-Men. They've done the Phoenix story so many times, the origin story so many times. I think they want to try something different, and I think this could be a path that they go with that. And so X-Men number 10, really bright looking copy, cool book. All right, now we'll get into, let's see, I think a few Golden Age books, and then we'll get back into a silver book with that other box. So I know the Golden Age books aren't often quite as popular, so maybe I'll try to move through them a little quicker. But this one, this is a big book. This is a very low grade copy, but it is a pricey book. This is Popular Teenagers number 9. And this one, I can't remember everything that's wrong with it. I think a lot of water damage and that kind of thing. But this, I mean, look up the prices on this book. This is an expensive book. It is an L.B. Cole cover. It is a rare book. You've got the kind of like the Good Girl art type cover on there. Everything like that. So, and it's just classic L.B. Cole looking colors and all that. So, picked up this one. Thought that was a really cool book. You don't see it. I thought it was an awesome opportunity to get that one. Then we've got Wonder Woman number 34. I just thought this was a cool Golden Age Wonder Woman cover. You've got her battling these robots, sci-fi type stuff for the Golden Age, always going to be popular. Wonder Woman, great character. And the colors on this one, just awesome. Really cool colors on this book. Thought this was another cool Golden Age book to pick up. Got another L.B. Cole. This is True to Life Romances, number 19. Again, if you see these books and you just, you know this is L.B. Cole. I mean, this is what his books look like. You can pick them out of a crowd. And so it's one of those things where you start seeing those books, you notice which ones are his. And that was just another one I felt was a good deal to pick up. The romance books aren't quite as popular, but there is demand for them, and so I do like to buy those when I see them at a good price. Now this next one here, I just picked up because I thought it was a cool Human Torch cover. Again, Golden Age Human Torch, can't really go too wrong. And this is Men's Adventures number 27. Actually, so you've got Human Torch here, and then you've got Toro, who's, when you see the two Human Torches on the covers a lot of times, it's, one of them is Toro, the other one is Human Torch. And so that's why on that Marvel Mystery 56 that I showed, where they had the person, it looked like they were being cooked like over a fire, that was Toro. And it's because he can't be burned. And so that's because he turns into, this Human Torch character. And so yeah, just Golden Age, Human Torch, cool book. Next one is a cool pre-code horror cover. You don't see this run come up very often. This is from Atlas. This is Astonishing number 29. And you've just got this creepy water zombie character who's carrying his own head because he's got like webbed hands. But yeah, headless guy. And Astonishing has some pretty cool covers in it, and this is just one of them. But I always like picking up pre-code horror, and Atlas are actually pretty affordable in most cases. So if you're looking for a more affordable pre-code horror runs, go away from the EC books, that kind of stuff, because those tend to be a little pricier, and try checking out Atlas. They've got some really cool covers, and they are often much more affordable. And then the last one, I believe this is a Matt Baker cover. So Matt Baker, he's one of the really famous Golden Age artists. He's really the first black artist that became extremely popular, did a lot of covers, all this kind of stuff, and he's known for drawing things like Good Girl art, but he also did lots of other genres as well. He did break into horror some, and but also a lot of these kind of like crime type covers. And so this is Authentic Police Cases, and I don't remember which issue this is. I can check real quick, because that's always the tough part with some of these. They don't put the issue number on the cover, so you gotta look. I don't know why they do that, but you gotta look on the inside. So let's see here. This is Authentic Police Cases number 7, and so yeah, there you go. Like I said, I believe this is a Matt Baker cover, and when you get a Matt Baker cover, I mean, you often want to try to get a cover where he's at least drawn a female character or something on there, just because that is what he was most well known for. And so you can see you've got the woman down there in the red dress being held hostage or something by probably some gangsters, something like that. And you got the police busting in to save her. All right, now the last book from this box, and then I've got the other box there, is this is an Alex Schomburg cover. it has some elements on it that I don't like. It's one of the unfortunate parts with Golden Age is you sometimes do get some like some racist imagery, and so that's the stuff I don't like about some of these covers. This unfortunately has that, but this is still it's from World War II era, but it was really right around when it was ending, because I'm guessing what they did is they changed the cover to where it probably would have been Nazis, and they changed it to these like squid characters or octopus characters. But this is Kid Comics number 9, and so this one has this weird octopus guy that's grabbing them, and this has Toro. He's one of the characters in here, and but yeah, so you can see how they've got like squids on them, and they were probably swastikas, and then they changed it since it was getting near the end of the war. But a beautiful copy of it, a 7.0, which is just crazy for 1945. But yeah, Alex Schomburg cover. You've got Toro on there, which always looks cool when he's drawing a Human Torch type character, and yeah, just a really nice presenting copy of this book from 1945. All right, so now we've got what is the really big book from this unboxing. This, so like I said, I commented that it was kind of like a Hulk book. So this one, I mean, this is one of the, I mean, in reality, it's one of the bigger books that I think that I've ever purchased. Again, it was one of those things where I watch these heritage auctions, and this ended up being, this is the only book I bought in that auction, and so that's always that risk. I put a lot of time in looking at these auctions like Heritage or the other ones, and I don't always know if I'm going to be able to pick up a book, if there's a book that meets my criteria for purchasing it. And in this auction, I mean, the auctions, they're like 8 hours long. It's across 2 days, and there's no guarantee you'll get anything, and I just happened to get this one book. And I felt like it was an absolute steal, and so I was very happy to be able to pick this one up. And I'll talk about why I don't really think these are great books to buy right now, but this one was such a good price, I had to. And so this is Incredible Hulk number 2 in a 6.5, and if you are familiar with these early Incredible Hulk books, a 6.5 is a crazy grade for this book. 6.5 puts it in about the top 14% of copies. It just, these early Hulk books, they just really, there aren't many of them compared to the other early Marvel books. The census counts are a lot lower, and they tend to be in very poor shape. I had it's like a 3.5 or a 4 a couple years ago, and I felt like it was kind of a gift, 3.5 or 4. It didn't look that great, but this is a really nice looking 6.5. So you kind of get an idea here on this one. You got a little crease in that corner, a little wear down there, pretty nice looking spine, a little wear on the top edge, but in general, very nice presenting copy of this book. And so definitely happy with this one. Now, if you're not familiar, this is the first appearance of the Green Hulk. So in Hulk number 1, he's gray, but the Hulk that most of us really know is the Green Hulk. And this is the first time that you see that Green Hulk. It's also got a bunch of second appearances. Second appearance of Hulk in general, Rick Jones, Betty Ross, General Ross, first appearance of the Toadmen, very key characters. Now, why do I think that these aren't great books to buy right now? And I'll tell you, when I've been watching the comic market over the last year and a half or so, I've seen the same story play out over and over and over again. And it's happened at different times. And it's where we see a spike in the prices of some of these books, and then you see a pullback in those prices, and then it starts to generally level off. And the thing is, the comic market, you only have so many people out there that are spending money on these books at any given time, and they can't look in every direction at once. And so what you saw the prices of different books go up as the year went on, and then kind of come down. And so the first ones that really went up were like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles books. Those were the first things we really saw spiking. Then it went into X-Men. Then it went into Fantastic Four, and then it went into Spider-Man, and it just kind of traversed down the books. And so that's why earlier this year, kind of late last year, I was giving some pretty big warnings on going a little too crazy on Amazing Fantasy 15. Because yes, it is a great book to own long term. You will probably be fine regardless. But that book didn't really move earlier in 2021, and then it went through this crazy spike over the last kind of like the end of 2021 and into 2022. And we've been seeing it, like I said, start to come back down. And it's probably going to flatten and turn back up again. But that's where you want to be cautious when you see these books just ramp straight up. It's just, they can't do that forever. It doesn't matter what book it is. And so with Amazing Fantasy 15, on a lot of grades, we've started to see that hit a peak and turn back down. And then what we're seeing with the Hulk books, so issues 1 through 6. So if you're not familiar with Hulk, it just had the first issues 1 through 6. Then he transferred over and did some crossovers in like Tales to Astonish, that kind of thing, and eventually came back to issue 102 when he got his own series again. And it seems like out of nowhere, over the last 3-4 months, we've been seeing issues 1 through 6 just go crazy. They've been doubling, tripling in price, and it was because they really hadn't experienced that big jump in value, and now they are. And so that's why I think you want to be careful with these right now. A lot of them are around that 100% gain point. When I usually saw a lot of these books turn back down, they usually hit around 200%. So there's probably still some room, maybe a little room on these books, but I would expect a lot of them to maybe start turning down. I think it's probably getting close to that peak. Now, this one I picked up because, like I said, I thought it was a great deal. I paid a little over $5,000 for it, and for comparison, a 5.0 just recently sold for $5,600, and then a 7.0 sold for like $9,700. And so this one went for less than that 5.0 and way under where the 7.0 is. So I'd actually value this book somewhere in the $7 to maybe not quite $8, but $700 to $7,500. And so that's why I decided to pick this book up, despite the fact that I think a lot of the books in this run are maybe getting near their peaks right now, because I just felt like this one was really undervalued for that specific sale. So that is why I think you want to be a little cautious with the Hulk books right now, but X-Men books, I think those are great books to buy. They've all turned down quite a bit. We're going to see those characters again, but with the Hulk, he's kind of nearing the end of his run, at least in the MCU, and they would have to recast that character. And we're going to have She-Hulk, that kind of thing, but I feel like we're not going to have the Hulk character that we've gotten to know throughout the Avengers run. That character, I feel, is going away pretty soon. That's where you could start to see some decline in the values of those books. But there are some definite keys in there. It's the early appearances of the Hulk. This is his second appearance. First appearance of him as Green Hulk. So never bad books to own, especially when you get them in the higher grades, because that's when they get more rare. That's when they're harder to come by, and you just don't see them come up for sale very often. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Maybe got some ideas about some books to pick up, maybe some books to maybe steer clear of. If you did enjoy this video, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you'd like to see more content like this. I've got more videos over here if you'd like to watch some of my other content, and the subscription button right here. If you'd like to subscribe to the channel, I'd really appreciate it. And I will see you in the next video.